All right, today we're gabbing with Liz Bentley, host of the Liz Explains podcast. Liz was on earlier this year for the first time, and I got so much great feedback. One of the clips from our chat went very viral on TikTok unexpectedly. And so I had to have Liz back on. She's on the short list of return guests. So I'm excited to have Liz here. We're going to talk about wife swaps, Salt Lake, some Potomac. How are you?
Thank you so much for having me back. I will tell you, I was like, should I be on TikTok? And then I was like, hold on. I loved reading 700 nice comments about myself.
Hmm.
I don't think I really want to read 700 mean comments about myself. And I was like, okay, nope, this was nice. This was such a nice exposure to this.
Like an adjacent virality kind of moment.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. What was the
So
take? What was the take that people loved so much?
the Greek chorus, I think, in Garcelle, and like it was about
Yes.
Beverly Hills.
Yeah, that was good. Yeah, that was it was Beverly Hills Summer House that we chatted about, I feel like.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, reading it's always great to get the good comments, but the bad comments, there's one
Yeah,
if there's one it lives rent free. One.
none of the rest of
That's
them
all it
mattered.
takes.
I stopped
No.
reading my podcast reviews years ago.
Yeah,
Like
same.
it's just because I don't look at the positive ones. Like they go in one ear and out another, and someone's like slightly critical, and I'm like, well,
Hmm.
that's it. Like
Yep.
packing it all up.
Totally. No, I saw like one tweet in response to my Miami episode that came out today. I'm just like, well, fuck. Like it just like makes you second guess everything. But we're better than that. All right, so we're gonna start with wife swap. Um, I really enjoyed like I had such low expectations for wife swap. It's a 4 episode run. It's a solid group of women they chose, but I was sort of like I was more excited about the idea when I thought it was going to be two housewives swapping with one another. And so this like the stakes are so much lower for this. It did like I think starting with this episode with Angie K, where it really felt like almost like simple life vibes at the beginning, where it's like total fish out of water. She shows up in the heeled booties holding the mannequins with the hats on. I appreciated those moments and I actually teared up by the end of the episode. But again, low stakes. What do you think of Wife Swap?
Okay, so I just want to say, in fairness to this, that this is just not my genre of show anymore. I kind of call them antics shows where people are doing antics, and they're just not
Yeah.
my favorite. When Wife Swap and Trading Spouses were on, like
Hmm.
that hit. Like I watched that. So I, like you, thought this would be wives swapping with each other, and it wasn't. So this is just not my type of show. So I want people to take my criticism with that in mind, is that this just didn't really do it for me because, in my opinion, the joy of watching Wife Swap is a low level terror that you feel the whole time by like like what is happening by these people
Hmm.
switching. And I actually like they spent the first 10 minutes telling us how hard Angie works from sunup to sundown. And then they were like, and she's going to a farm. And I was like, yeah, she'll do great there. She's a farmer, but she's inside. Like they just told us that her favorite thing to do is to
Right.
spend the entire day doing physical labor chores. She just doesn't live on a farm. So I was just a little like the whole thing
That's a
was like
good
a
analysis.
little too cute for me, I think. And that's just like my personal preference. But Angie was great. The family was good. Like there was no issue with the show. You know what I mean? Like there's no actual problem with it. It's just not for me.
Yeah,
I need more like ooh,
I get
darkness. I
it.
need
And it's like
darkness.
we do need darkness, and it's sort of like it almost doesn't really feel totally like a Bravo show in some ways because like
Yes.
you also could have imagined like in another world where it was two housewives.
That's so fun.
It still would have been antic-y probably, but it also would have been like in the way that Ultimate Girls Trip,
Yes.
you got little nuggets about, high level storylines that sort of we've been following over the years. Like you could have gotten a little bit of that if it was two wives, but again, they don't even touch on really anything other than like Mary showing up and that confirming that they're friends still. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
that's kind of like what we got in terms of like, okay, I want some Bravo tea. Like that we're not here for that.
I do think Angie was like genuinely into it though. Like
Me
I think
too.
she went in with her whole heart and like really gave it a fair shot in a way that I was like, yeah, she goes to work. Like I appreciated it because sometimes you'll watch these things and you're kind of like, why did they agree to go on here? Like they don't seem like they're having a great time or just like they don't even seem open to this. But Angie was like, I think she does what production wants her to in a way that works well on TV.
Yeah, it is one of these opportunities where it's like if you're a housewife, you should say yes to it. But like in the best case scenario, it's probably this Angie episode where it's actually really good PR for you. Like here we have
Yes,
her like kind of like going pretty low with like matching Lisa like, sort of in the basement and the arguments, you know what I mean? And then you see her wife swap episode right after that episode of Salt Lake City, and
literally.
you're like, oh, like she does have a heart of gold. She just is sort of like in the gutter in the other job that she's doing essentially. And so, but I could see it. I could see some housewives signing up for this show and it kind of backfiring on them if they're like too
Here's
snobby,
hoping.
right? If it's like if they're like too snobby or like they don't
Yeah,
embrace the
that's what I
opportunity, like it's yeah, no, I'd love that. And I'm okay. I have Melissa, Emily, and Wendy, the three remaining episodes. Who do you think that could be most true for?
So the Wendy of it all is obviously like tuning into that.
Yeah, of course.
I, like you've got me there. Like what the current events make that dark, just in retrospect. So all in on the Wendy
Hmm.
episode. Um, I don't know. I think the other two, Emily and Melissa, are like so rehearsed, I'm not a huge Emily hater like a lot of people, but she's not stupid. You know what I mean? Like she's
No.
not gonna go on there and flip out, and we know Melissa is not gonna do that. So I'm sure Joe Gorga will do a little song and dance flip out, and I don't. Maybe Teresa will come over. They seem to really be trying to convince us they're back together. So like
Can I get your
maybe
two
that will
cents on that?
happen.
Can I get your 2 cents on
Um,
that?
it's the same as it ever was.
Yeah,
Like
it's
they're
like
coming back together because
interesting
they need each
timing.
other.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah. And here's the thing. I actually do think like when they have these reunions, it's real like every family that has high level conflict that falls out and comes back together does it for like kind of selfish reasons usually. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like when you
Yeah.
are fighting on and off for a family member for a million years and you're like not speaking for a year, you're usually not coming back together like and things are so good. Like I don't really care if the business is the reason that they're back together. Like that I don't it's not that I find it fake. I'm just like none of you have changed. All of your drama is still exactly the same. Nobody, like, there just cannot be a different outcome. And that's where I'm like,
Hmm.
what are we doing here?
Yeah. Yeah. It's sort of like I mean, it feels especially this from Teresa's side, but I'm also just like, okay, so we're, 11th hour trying to reconcile right before BravoCon as, their test filming is probably happening. And it's like, okay, so then what is the year and a half pause for if this is what we're trying to make happen again? Like, what's the point of the last year?
It doesn't make any sense. We need to move forward. The show needs to pick one or the other or neither.
Yeah,
Just pick. You know what I
exactly.
mean? Like just make a
Make
decision
the
and
decision.
let's go. Call Danielle and let's go. Not Danielle Staub, other Danielle that I'm really excited about, and she better be back. And I've been running this campaign for however long the
Hmm.
show's been off the air. But like, come on, you want Dorinda on air? Like, let's go. Clearly, Bravo wants these girls, and if you want to stick with Teresa, fine. Stick with Teresa. Cut the Gorgas. Let's go. like,
Make an
let's
executive
just
decision.
do
Yeah,
something.
truly.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
change it.
Because yeah, I was talking about this recently. I'm just like, it's just so like annoying. It's like we have like this a
Yeah.
great stable of stars that like know how to do good housewives, and they're sitting right there, eager as ever, and we're just like letting them like salivate in the corner and not. It's just like I don't know. I'm over the like waiting of it
Also,
all.
like, Melissa's not too precious to cut. Teresa is not too precious to cut. And if they are, bring them back in the next season. Like, none of this is real. Like, who can't, like, cut them for one season. And if it doesn't work, go whoopsie
Totally.
and bring them
Yeah.
back. Who
Yeah,
cares?
the sort of temperature is like, oh, it's like a stake in the ground, and it's like there's no going back
Yeah.
from whatever they decide. And it's like that's actually not the case. It's really not the case.
As my friends on Come Through Queen podcast say, there aren't rules anymore on the Housewives, which
Hmm.
is accurate. 5 years or even 10 years ago, we would not have been like, whatever, who cares? They can come back. But now it's so fluid that it's like, why would we have meltdowns? Like, just give us something, change something, and we'll be okay. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work.
Yeah, back the next season with a different mixture of the same women. Honestly,
We have sat through so many seasons of Housewives.
I know, I know, and like there's enough
Like,
other good shit happening that like if it doesn't totally work the first time, it's okay. It's okay.
it it just doesn't matter.
No,
Like
I,
we
I think
watched
that I
I
think they
watched the
feel like
twin
the stakes are
season.
so high.
Yeah,
Right.
I watched the twin season of Bernie, and guess what happened? They cut the twins and brought Teresa back. Okay, like Just try it again.
And we all forgot it happened until you just brought it up again. So it's like
Yeah, somewhere they were both like, huh?
the ears are perked. Yep. Uh-huh. Um, all right, so I feel like there's you. So you tweeted. I feel like maybe I'll say this now so we can tease it and talk about it towards the end. We're gonna end with Salt Lake City because you said that
Okay.
you have some really big good takes on Britney and also some information on Soup Man of it all.
So
So I
I
want
will
to,
say
yeah,
this
yeah.
episode was made for me.
Yeah, stunning. I love sometimes that happens when I book somebody and I'm just like this like I didn't even think about it this way or like I didn't know what you were thinking and it just is a kismet thing where this is the right person, right time for the show. So I'm
Mhm.
happy to hear it. I want to go to Potomac first before we go to Salt Lake. There's been some updates in the Wendy, you know, space or
Mhm.
yesterday or the day before it came out that she is pushing for the charges to be dismissed based on like illegal arrests. And she also seemingly
Mhm.
wants to separate her case from Eddie's case, who doesn't have a lawyer listed on the filings. Like it's getting even messier. Talk me through your journey with the Wendy arrest up until now, and like where you stand with it.
I still feel just confounded by it.
Yeah,
It's so
totally.
baffling, the whole thing from start like to finish. Like I just can't quite wrap my head around the decisions that they made. I can't square them with the people that I see on television, even if I'm not like obsessed with Wendy and Eddie. The behavior was just so stupid and high risk for kind of a low reward. Like, please, don't get me wrong,
Hmm.
someone give me
Grand scheme of things. Right.
$425,000.
Right.
But like, I don't know, you could get really good on Instagram. You have
She also
however
makes
many
more than that in a season,
followers.
probably. At least that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like I don't understand. I will say as far as like the legal filings, she should be defending herself as vigorously as possible. I think separating her case from Eddie is probably the right decision, just in my non-lawyer, but knows a little bit about law stuff. I
Okay.
do think like the steps that she took this week, the filing for the dismissal, as well as I think that's what it was, and then as well as like separating her case, I think those are legal moves that make sense. And look, the reality is like if she did it, she did it. But if they were illegal in the arrest and you could get it thrown out there, like why wouldn't you do that? Like if that's your constitutional
Right.
right,
If
that's your
you're her,
constitutional right.
yeah.
And you should take advantage of that. But at the same time, I'm like, Wendy, never go out in public during this. Like, don't say anything. Stop posting on Instagram.
Yeah. Stop
Why were you
Instagram.
grinning in that mugshot? Why are you posting? Why is Eddie posting? Like, what?
No,
We
no
gotta
Bible
go. We
verses
gotta
are
go
needed
zip.
here. Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Zip it.
Yeah. Totally. Don't go to BravoCon.
It's
Don't do any of this stuff. Like, really, just don't do any of that.
it's so bad what they did, and the charges are so serious. And what really gets me is that there are so few housewives with genuine professional careers that they can go back to, even
Hmm.
though so many of them that have them, they can't go back, right? Like they're a housewife now. And
Hmm.
I'm not sure how far back Eddie and Wendy could go, but like before there was a chance Eddie could have been a lawyer again, before like Wendy could have been teaching again or commentating or doing something, they had professional, reliable careers that most of the housewives and their spouses simply do not, as we will see on Salt Lake City, right? Like when we're talking
Right.
about the cast of Salt Lake City compared to Wendy and Eddie, who have a white collar background. So to do something so stupid, I just I
It doesn't
can't, my
track with what
brain
we
can't
know
make
from
sense of
them.
it.
Yeah, totally.
Yes.
And also it's like even I think the social media posts and going off what you just said, like she was literally actively teaching at Wesleyan. It's like a great university.
Hello.
And I'm like, but I'm like, it just speaks to, I mean, to me, it signals like a lack of perspective or a loss of perspective. And they had these white collar backgrounds, but like they were trying so hard every single season to build these different brands. It was the candles, it's
Mhm.
Happy Eddie, it's different
Yep.
things. And it's, it just feels like and even on this, even on the beginning of this episode, her and Kiarna sit down on those benches by the water. And, Kiarna is basically saying, like, Wendy, like, all you do is talk about the show and the way that you're navigating this friendship. Like, even though you can, I think I can agree with social media where like Kiarna's trying too hard and she's like making an issue where maybe there isn't one. I do probably, I think what she's saying about probably Wendy, like, acting differently on camera and off camera and talking about the show a lot, that tracks with what we are now learning, you know?
I also think that's not necessarily a totally new accusation amongst the cast.
Right. Totally.
It's not, maybe we haven't heard exactly that, but I think it's like kind of in line with what they've been saying. And I think we are watching, if I can put on my class
Do it.
analysis hat for a second, we are watching a really interesting phenomena of people who, this is the worst phrase, but it's like high earners, not yet rich. They are people who are so solidly upper middle class. They're probably each making at their white collar careers, let's say 250 a year. They're making $500,000 a year living in Maryland. Like that's going far, but guess what? Tuition for 3 kids, $75,000 a year. For kindergarten, not for I'm not talking about college. I'm talking about
Hmm.
kindergarten because you want to send your kids to private school. Guess how much the cars cost? 150,000. Like the numbers just add up so fast. And I think when you're in this position, when you can kind of taste it, but you can't quite figure out how to get over the hurdle, kind of drove them insane and made them make these choices. And I think it's maybe it's entitlement of like, how come we're seeing these other people do things and like we don't have all of this? I don't know. I think it's a real good example though of like how I hate to say it, but like there is a clearer line between people who make money and are upper middle class and people who have true like fuck you money, like Todd. I would say like a person like Todd
Totally.
can do whatever the fuck he wants. Eddie can't. You know what I mean? Like Eddie has to get up and work and like like figure out a way to provide for his family. And then they turn around and when you're in these spaces, you meet people who don't have jobs that have millions of dollars that don't do anything. And it
Hmm.
makes you insane, especially if you start getting around people who are born into it and not just in a
Totally.
corporate environment. Like it makes you feel crazy. And I always say, like, I'm so glad at one point in my life I went back to public school because, like, I was at my family beach house being like, we're really poor because, like, I just had no perspective on
Perspective.
anything.
Right.
And
Right.
then I like met people when I was 16 and was like, oh, right, right, right. Okay. This is not the world. And so I can like see how Eddie and Wendy get in this position where they're exposed as children of immigrants to like a
Hmm.
lifestyle that's truly beyond a majority of people's wildest dreams. Like
Totally.
imagine never having to work and getting to take private jets. And you're around
That
people
sounds
like that.
fabulous. Right.
Because it is because that's the truth. At the end of the day, it is fabulous to be
Of
that
course,
rich.
but you forget that you actually already have
Yep.
so much to be thankful for, and that is so enviable to so many other people
Yep, you
elsewhere.
lose track. You lose
Yeah,
perspective. And when you're on the Housewives, it's like you are like being waterboarded with the pressure of it. Like it's
totally.
not, it goes beyond. I think even without the Housewives, they would have maybe gotten into some trouble with this because I think it's speaking to something they want in their lives. But
Hmm.
I do think the Housewives like put the pressure on it
Right.
times
And
10.
and it's also like, you hear about, allegedly the things that they were purchasing and returning. It's like $900 Gucci belts and things like that. And it's like that is so to me, you're buying those things and those were a couple years ago. So it's like, it's midway through her run on the show, just a couple years into it. To me, if you're doing that, it's sort of signaling to me like, oh, this is what you think you should be doing, sort of
Yes.
thing. And like I think I put this somewhere, but I really feel like this reminded me of like the idea that I also think that in Housewives, like they really overestimate the importance of like having a label for us to see as viewers. Like viewers don't actually
Yes.
care about that. And they're so like if you're an early run housewife, I know that like we know that there's a large investment that you make in this at first. You're probably losing
Oof.
money on your first couple seasons, right? And you're hoping it's going to pay off in season 3, 4, 5, 6 in Wendy's case, she gets to season 6 and her sixth season, and you're making really good money and you're making up for some of that. You've built the Instagram following, you've built the brands maybe, but like there's a way that early on to dress really nicely and in a chic way and to really still fit in, I think, without
Yeah.
doing the returning and the labels and the whatever. Or like Kyle Richards still does her own glam on every trip they go on. And honestly, for like a lot of the group parties, even in Beverly Hills. And like they all think they have to spend $1,000 on glam every single event. And it's like I just don't, again, it's the loss of perspective, like or thinking this is how you should be doing it. I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know.
I it it makes me so sad for their kids. Like it's
I
just
know.
so
And for them, because
it's so
and for
crazy.
them, honestly, I like
Yeah.
it's just
Yeah, they're
I,
young. They're like in their mid 30s, right? How old are they? Are
I
they
think they're probably
40?
like around. I don't. I'm gonna look that up as we talk, but like I think they're like late 30s, early 40s.
Like,
Yeah,
and they've just tanked their careers and their potential earnings for the rest of their
41.
lives at
Yeah,
41. Like, oh, it's tough. And
yeah.
watching her on the show, I'm trying to stay in the moment, if you will, because I do
Yeah.
think it makes watching the show better, but it's hard.
That was my next question for you because I feel like it's this interesting thing where like I don't. I'm so curious how much. We saw in the first episode that had already been, locked and loaded and edited before this all happens. And like they were talking about, how well they were doing and building the business and redoing their home. And I'm so curious if the editors will sort of like, back half of the season add in more sort of moments like that to highlight that. I'm because Scandival already know, we obviously know that like that had so many Easter eggs and they put those in there
Yeah.
after the fact. I'm curious if they do that here at all.
I think they will, and I think they'll also be filming some pickup shots of them maybe talking about
For
things
sure.
because like that scene where they were like, let's call Ray. You know what I mean? Because Karen gets out and people are like excited about Karen's out. And Bravo's like, get Karen back on the show. Get cameras up
Hmm.
when Karen is out. And we need some pickup shots of
Well,
them
get
talking about
Karen.
Karen earlier in the
Well,
season.
well, get Karen talking about Wendy.
Yeah, like, you know what I mean? There's gonna
Yeah,
be like, I think they are I mean, they'd be stupid not to.
I know.
Like,
I know.
I hate
Yeah.
to say it, but like Wendy was just like,
Well,
here you go on a silver
yeah. I mean,
platter.
listen, it's like
It's all
it's
its
like
fault but
this.
her own.
But that is the catch 22 of being a Bravo fan. It's because like you root for so many of these people, you love all these people, and then like inevitably somebody has some sort of downfall or something happens in their life, or they do something allegedly, and it's fodder for the show and it actually helps the health of their franchise to have this stuff happen, which is like such a fucked
Yep.
up thing, but like that is the reality of Bravo reality shows. So
If Bravo's not cutting this to like make a horror story about Wendy, I don't know what we're doing here, to be honest. Like, you have just been given high drama. Let's figure out how to work it into your season. That is, I mean, I think this season is good, but they've come off like a couple of bumpy seasons. And being handed this and Karen, like,
yeah. Well, now it's like we have to me what's so great about this why I'm enjoying it so far is that I'm laughing actually a lot watching it and I wasn't laughing for so
agreed,
long watching it. Like
agreed.
even like obviously Stacey, like Giselle I think is firing on all cylinders. Ashley's having hilarious confessionals, like even Kiarna kind of makes me laugh a lot with like her delivery. It's just and even just like the shading, it just everything's working in that regard for me. So to have these sort of higher level, higher stake situations happening, it's a good balance right now.
Yes,
What's sort of standing out to you from like the recent episodes? We've only had three of this season. I feel like it's interesting. Kiarna's kind of main character, even though people on
she
social media seem to
is.
hate her. She's kind of main character.
She is. I mean, she's the center drama right now. She's the one that's like really creating drama. Nobody else
Yeah.
really is. Giselle, never count a
Hmm.
producer's favorite out, first of all.
Oh,
Giselle had some bumpy seasons. Okay,
she's
Giselle,
having a good season though right now.
the curse of it all.
Right.
But never count someone like Giselle out who can do
Never.
the work.
Especially
And
without
I
Karen
think
there. Yeah.
she is playing with Kiara in a way that I'm like, she's pushing her in a perfect way. Oh,
Hmm.
she is doing the work that needs to be done, Giselle, this season. And Ashley, every time we go to Ashley, I'm a little like, okay, we're with Ashley
Oh,
now.
you are? Okay.
It's not that I like hate Ashley. I just am like, I think I've always felt this way a little bit about her that I only like her in group scenes, I think is actually what it is. Because I find her funny, but her life to just be like, okay.
Yeah, yeah. It's sort of like you can envision her maybe in a year or two being an Adriana of Potomac, where it's like
Yes.
she is driving a lot of storyline, mixing it up, whatever. But we just don't need to see her personal life anymore because it's like
Yeah.
we're another dating younger guy kind of storyline, and that's kind of
Yeah.
it, right?
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, when she's like digging up dirt, sure,
So good at
great. When
it,
she's
yeah.
getting screenshots of friendship contracts or whatever that was, like, great. I like that. Um, yeah, Stacey is a star, first of all. I mean,
Yeah.
deciding to get back with her ex-husband, are you kidding me? Like,
Hello. And he's a handsome
I
guy, so I don't
also
mind watching him.
I am from the Westchester area where QVC is, and I every time Stacey mentions it, I want to be like, I want to know where she lived. Like I just am like so curious local stuff. But yeah, Stacey's a star. I think the other women are gonna mess up if they harp too much on the ex because I think
hmm
people don't care that it's fake. And I'm not sure the wives know that yet. Do you know what I mean? Because after the reunion, it was like yeah, the Still I Rise stuff was funny, but I think everyone was kind of unsure where Stacey would totally land. And she's so funny this season, and her
So
line is
funny.
so
Yeah.
funny and stupid in a way that she's not hurting other people's families.
Mm-mm.
She's not accusing someone of assault that didn't assault that. Like, she is lying about the dumbest shit that I love. And I am not sure the other wives quite knew that would happen because you never really know which way a liar is going to go with the audience.
Well, and
You
also
never really know.
it's because it's clearly like they're all sort of like they still don't really know what to do with her, you know? And so it's
Yes.
like
I
like
don't blame them, by the way.
yeah, they're pushing a woman who doesn't really give straight answers for straight answers, and that's not a formula that works, right? But I think what's actually going to even complicate the sort of image of Wendy even more for viewers and make it kind of like a we're going to feel really torn, I think, because Wendy and Stacey are really good friends right now. And so I think
Mhm.
Wendy, and I interviewed her at the beginning of this season, like a week before it all came out. And
It's crazy.
I asked her about this line in the trailer or in the premiere where Stacey was like, Ashley and Giselle are a team up. Like they gang up on it's like a 1-2 punch. They each like an
Yeah.
alley, they just lay up and they whatever. But I was like, do you agree with that? And she's like, I actually do. And even though I'm on good terms with Giselle and Ashley, I'm sort of going to defend Stacey this season because while I agree with asking the questions, the way that they're doing it is not right. And so I think that's going to save Wendy a little bit in terms of in the eye of the viewer because we know from OC right now we do not like a gang up season as viewers. We
No.
always are going to side with that one person, and I think that Wendy is going to be the ally for Stacey because she's going to see gang up happening, and she that's actually savvy of her to go to Stacey instead of to go the other direction. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah. No, I think that makes a ton of sense. I think, sorry, Stussy, if that's what ended up happening. Oh, that kind of sucks for next season for Stacey. It sucks for the
Right.
reunion for Stacey because if Wendy goes to the
Yep, that's true.
reunion, I'll eat a hat. Like there's no I,
I mean,
I will be so I'll
I
honestly
really
be
hope her
mad.
lawyers do not allow that to happen. Yeah.
I'll be genuinely mad at her. She has children. She has young children. This is her life and her children's lives. Eddie aside, there are three what they're like 8 and 5. They are babies.
They're
There are
young. Yeah.
children. You do not go in the fucking housewives reunion and fight about Stacey's contract with TJ or whatever his name is. You know what I mean? Like it is so oh, that sucks for Stacey kind of, but I do think
Yeah.
that's a good point that Wendy might benefit from just like having a good season by picking the right horse because I mean never underestimate picking the right person to stick with for the season.
100%. And that's a redeeming thing if that does indeed happen. And again, it's just so hard to tell like what the
It's so
future
up in
holds
the
for
air.
her. Yeah, it's
Yes.
so up in the air.
Yes.
And like I feel like whether let's say this goes to trial, I think even the way that this unfolds is like totally unclear. Like I've asked like I have a couple
Hmm.
lawyer friends and I've asked for their advice in terms of like their expertise, and I'm like I've gotten different answers from a good amount of them. It's like some of them are saying a good lawyer could get them to, basically just have them be put on probation and
Hmm.
restitution. Some of them are like, no, she's going to jail. So it's like it's hard
It's so
to.
much money. It's that's the
I
other
know,
thing.
I know.
It's so much money and so little money. That's the crazy thing. It's so much
hmm
money in terms of the law. That's what I want to
hmm
clarify. In terms of the law, $425,000 is such a high amount, and it is an easy amount to justify prison time for. Is this a federal case or a state case? I can't remember. But for
I'm
whoever is
actually not sure.
prosecuting, like it's an amount that puts
Well,
someone in prison.
well, I remember
But
the day the charges came out, it was like everything was like all the wording was like in excess of $300
yep,
because that
yep.
was like the threshold, and it's like, whoa,
Yeah, that's the felony
they
threshold.
really past that threshold.
They're really past it. How much I like, I think Teresa and Joe didn't steal that much more money than that. Like
Mm.
it $425,000 is a lot of money. And I'm so
Yeah.
worried.
Yeah, I
I'm
know. I
so
know. I know. I know.
worried.
Um,
I'm like the
I-
children.
yeah, I know. It's like
Oh, by the
I can't stop
way,
thinking about it anyway. Yeah.
I did have an uncle who was arrested for running a Ponzi scheme when I was in ninth grade. And like my other
Uh,
uncles worked at the business. He went to federal prison for 5 years because he was able to rat a bunch of people out. So I've actually like seen this in family. So it's extra triggering to me. I find Jen on OC to be really
mm,
triggering for this reason. And this stuff, like the kids, like, I mean, I'll never forget what it was like for my cousin. You know what I mean? Like it's
right.
when
Right.
your parents do that to you. And also like, I said I like grew up around a lot of rich people. And so I also grew up with some people who then became not rich. And the kid, like, how hard that is for kids to be pulled out of the, like, I know it sounds silly, but like to be pulled out of your private school, to be pulled out of your camps, to suddenly be told, no, we can't buy that, to have to move out of your home. Like, to have that just like ripped out from you as a
It's
child is
confusing.
really destabilizing and
Yeah. Hmm.
confusing and hard. Like, yeah, it sounds silly, but like when all of you known is like luxury vacations and then your parents are like, we can't afford to go out to eat, like
Hmm.
that's a really hard transition for a child.
And this is in the public eye. It's
Yeah.
like they were probably at school like, yeah, like our parents are famous, like that's probably the vibe,
It's
and now it's like, well, all the
oh
other kids' parents are telling them about what's happening, and the neighbors are talking
yeah.
to people and like calling up Tamara Judge, and it's like, well,
Yeah.
yeah,
I
that's
did
like
see that.
literally like that's literally happening, and it's like Jesus Christ, of course they're calling Tamara. I mean, that's the
If
first call
anyone
you
ever
make.
calls Tamara Judge on me, like
That's
I
when
will
you
sue
know.
you.
That's when you
Like
know.
that is a step too far.
All right, Liz, I want to transition over to Salt Lake City, where, some equally dark things are happening.
Yeah.
Um, where do we want to begin? Okay, so I really feel like the standout scene from this past week was the scene with Brittany and her daughter Olivia, who's 19. We've heard a little bit about it. First of all, I didn't even expect Olivia to ever be filming. I feel like I didn't see her in the trailer ever. Like when they had that, shot of her walking across that crosswalk to meet her mom for coffee, I was like, whoa, oh, it's happening. It's
Same.
happening.
Yeah.
Um, and I mean, it was quite the scene. It was really like you could sense the awkwardness at first. There was that whole thing about Brittany, like, trying to be like trying to make a cute move by like ordering the steamer, and then it was like a story, it was referencing a story that her daughter didn't even remember from when she was like 4 years
Mm.
old, and it just we sensed the disconnect right away. But you said on Twitter when we were excited about this recording that you have sort of a more nuanced take on this than maybe the rest of the internet does. I want to hear your perspective on watching this scene.
Okay, so I was watching this and I was like, hold on. Wasn't Britney's second marriage like horrifically abusive? And I was like, where did I hear that? Like, I started being like, what am I like, am I misremembering something? Because I found the way it was being discussed to be very Britney made choices and these are the results of them without any sort of context. And I want to be so clear, I'm not blaming this on her daughter in any way. For the record, I grew up in a really fucked up family. When I was 18, both my parents got sober and medicated and were like, let's have a
Mm,
relationship. And I was like, you
wow.
guys can go fuck yourselves. So I really understand like where Olivia is coming from with this. And I don't hold her responsible for anything. But when I heard her say like it was like a switch flipped, I was like, I swear I've seen her talk about this being abusive. So I did a Google and I realized I knew this because like Britney's ex stepdaughter had gone viral on Twitter talking about Britney. And
Yes,
as a
you're right.
result, a lawsuit from 2021 or even maybe 2023 recently came out and like just trigger warning for domestic violence, but Brittany is detailing daily sexual assault from her ex-husband.
Wow.
She says that he kept a whiteboard in which he was writing rules that she would violate so he could keep track of it. He was in total control of all of her money. He was in total control if they saw one another. So what I think we are witnessing is, by the way, everyone, I have a master's in social work. I am not a social worker. And I also I worked as a crime victims advocate. So like in the court system. So I've like seen this up close. And that's why I was kind of joking that this is like a perfect episode for me because like
You
family
know what you're
violence
talking about.
family violence is really important to me because I mean domestic violence kills, and I worked with many families where the victim was a victim of domestic violence where the spouse
Hmm.
murdered them, and I would work with
Wow.
their children. And I think what is so hard about domestic violence is that recovery doesn't always involve total healing for people, and family members heal in different ways. And I think, unfortunately, what we are seeing is a really common, sad result of domestic violence, which is the severing of relationships between the abuse victim, the
Mm.
parent, and the children. And I'm not sure if they were also abused, but they were in the home. She says they saw this, they were aware of this. So there's no way they weren't impacted by it, right? And like having domestic violence in your home just impacts everything. And when I look at Brittany and I'm like physically watching her listen to her daughter, she is so disassociated. Like
Yeah, she
she's like
is.
not in
Yeah.
the scene. She's
Hmm.
not in the body. Like
Hmm.
she is floating above. Like she is so detached from reality in a way that to me screams PTSD. And now here's the thing, everyone, this is Brittany's responsibility. And Brittany needs to go get help. And being on television and being with Jared and all of this stuff is just going to exasperate everything and make everything worse. And I like deeply feel for her children because I cannot imagine what it feels like to watch your mother finally get away from her abuser and then get with Jared Osmond and go on the Housewives. Like it's such a bizarre behavior choice, but there's just I think it is so easy to like scream about Brittany choosing men over her children, and she is doing that. But like, I view domestic violence as like a disease of the brain. Like it makes you
It
sick.
alters
Like
it,
it's like
right?
it alters literally your entire perception of
Mm.
everything that is going on in the entire world. Like it's not just stuff with your relationships. It's how you view everything. And healing from that is like really hard. And I think if maybe you're already a literal nar or you're already a little narcissistic. You already wanted to be an actress. You know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
this was already how she was beforehand. And I think the second marriage, like, I just think it's so easy because of the way Bravo presented it. This is like my issue is that I don't think it was that fair to Brittany, the scene, because bringing this up and like not mentioning that her husband raped her every day, like that's so much context that's needed.
Do you think that she either doesn't want to add that context on the show or like is it an
I'm not
active legal
sure. I'm not
thing?
sure. I don't
Because
think it's an active legal thing, but I would
okay,
guess that she's been advised not to speak about him.
right. But then it's sort
Like,
of like do you think about what maybe what's going through her mind additionally, which is
yeah, I
like,
don't
okay,
know. That's also
she can't
don't
speak to
know.
if she can't if let's say she can't speak to this lawsuit and the claim and you know this the real realities of that relationship that she had alleged, like then she's sitting there detached, like you said, but there's another reason why she's detached, and like there's another like she probably wants to whatever. And then
Yeah,
if
it's
you're the daughter, it's also like you're obviously so relieved that your mom got away from this person, but also it's like I'm guessing she would have been like a teenage she would have still been a teenager when this was happening. Like
yeah.
it's still in a way probably in a fucked up way like feels like your mom is still choosing this other person and like because she probably
Yes, and she
stayed with him,
is.
and
She
obviously that's a very
is.
complicated thing, but not
Yeah.
Jared, like the second
Yes. Oh no,
husband.
no, no, but she
Yeah,
is. She is. That's how I
right.
feel. Like
Yeah, it's and it's not
I
even
get it.
necessarily about yeah, right, it's not even
I get
about like
it.
yeah, so it's just like
Yeah.
it's oh my
Yeah.
gosh. And like
Yeah.
I will say I do
That's why it's
think
so
that like
complicated.
yeah, and I do think the daughter, even
It's
with
great.
this context, I think the
She was
daughter
so great.
she's so mature and she's so
Hmm.
like she was so thorough and clear in the way that she was
Hmm.
speaking. And like I actually really respected like she almost took emotion out of it for herself because I think she knew she had to like really like she had to put it out there. And this was sort of her moment to do so, even if it was maybe a little bit unfair to Brittany without acknowledging that context.
Uh,
I just respected the daughter, like her, the way that she comported herself, you know?
so much. And I also think like my issue is with Bravo, not with like the daughter, because for one, for all we know is she like did say stuff, but maybe they're afraid
Right.
of this guy
Sure.
suing Bravo, so they're cut. Because like why Britney would agree to do this, that's the great question, right? Like
Hmm.
I have Brittany Bateman with kind of Mary and Kelly Ben Simone in this little like orbit where the aliens live that I can't quite figure out why they do anything that they do, even though I have a lot of speculation. I'm always a little confused as to their choices. And I think her daughter, first of all, agreeing to do this, like speaks to the fact that they are trying like
Definitely.
and that she wants to have a relationship with her mom, that she's like willing to get on camera and talk about something so personal. And I mean, to an extent, it shouldn't be embarrassing, but like I felt her embarrassment when she was like, do you think I wanted to live with my dad? Do you think I wanted to have to ask my dad about periods? Like, having a parent that loses custody of you is also embarrassing. Your friends know. Like, it's so layered and detailed. And yeah, I thought her daughter was really
Yeah.
generous with Brittany, kind, she patient,
Hmm.
even when Brittany was kind of giving her bullshit, which Brittany was. Brittany was giving her bullshit. She wasn't taking accountability with the Jared stuff.
Yeah, she said,
And
"I'm sorry. This makes me so sad. I'm sorry you feel this way," basically. And like,
mhm,
it almost felt like also one of those relationships, mother-daughter relationships, where it almost feels flipped. It almost felt like she was the
yes.
mother talking to the
Oh,
kid.
yes.
She was like, you need to go figure out why you choose men over your kids.
Oh my
Like,
God, it was so
and she wasn't like, I won't be here. She was like, you just need to figure that out
yeah,
because like then,
yeah.
and you're right. Like they clearly are trying, and she clearly was like, all right, I need to meet my mom where she is, which is on camera.
Hmm. Hmm.
Jared cannot be there because imagine that scene if like Jared had been like in the other room or like whatever. Like I'm so glad they were
Yeah.
just them
Yeah.
two, and it was
Yes.
probably. And at one point I was like, it's kind of weird they're doing this publicly, but then I was like, maybe that is good. Maybe it was good they were like just sitting at a coffee shop. But they like after the episode, they've done a couple like joint Instagram posts, so clearly like the relationship has is being mended, and like this has helped them move forward. So like, and I'm guessing we'll maybe see at least one more or two more scenes this season, even if she's a friend, like maybe with
Yeah.
updates on where they go from here.
And like I'm glad to hear that because they went through so much trauma, and I'm glad that
Hmm.
Olivia gets to have her mom, and I hope that Brittany is trying a little bit because it is. I mean, the scene of Whitney essentially shaking Brittany is like genuinely cathartic to watch. I
Totally.
think, and
Whitney handled
as
that well
someone
too. Yeah.
whose mom once was like, "Well, you asked for him to come back about her dad."
Wow.
It's hard. It's hard. It's
Yeah.
really hard. It's a big weight to carry as a child when you feel like you understand that your mom is a victim, but you
Mm.
also are like,
Yeah.
but I'm not being protected here. It's a really hard place to come back from.
Complex.
And I'm so lucky because my parents got sober and medicated themselves and then tried really hard and worked really hard and get like if they hadn't done that, like my whole life would be so different. But like, especially our relationship would have been so
Hmm.
different because, like, how do you heal when you're still doing the same behavior? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
At a certain point, it's like Olivia can only give so much to Brittany if Brittany can't give anything back. And what I just want to make clear is that it's like, I think for me, what I find frustrating is that we can talk about the why of Brittany's behavior without also justifying her behavior and still acknowledging that she is making the wrong choices, but also hold space for the fact that she's less than 5 years out of a very, very abusive relationship.
Mm.
And I mean, her children are so young. You know what I mean?
Yeah. She's
Olivia's
19.
12. It's only been 7 years since the relationship started. That's
Right.
with COVID in between. You know what I mean? Like, that's a
Yeah.
tumultuous,
And now they're on
short.
TV.
Yeah,
It's
now they're
like
on TV
it's like
because
that. That's a
Brittany.
crazy couple. That's a crazy 7 years.
It's a really crazy 7 years, and I hope that Brittany can step back and make some real changes. And I hope that Olivia holds space for herself for allowing her to walk away from her mom if she needs to. Like
Right. Right.
I hope
Totally.
Olivia also knows that she doesn't have to forgive her mom and she doesn't have to support her mom through this. And even if her mom was a victim of horrific violence, Olivia is a child, and Olivia was a child during this, and she she can't be Britney's support system. That is not her role. That's not the way we are set up society wise. She can be there for her mom and they can be close, but she cannot be the one that comforts the woman who left her open to the abuse. It's just not the way that you can mend things. And I think that's where they might continuously run into trouble,
Hmm.
unfortunately. And it's just, it's hard to watch. Like I said, on one hand, I'm like so glad the scene was on, and I'm glad for Olivia and Brittany, and they do seem to be in a better place. And SLC is like weirdly so fake, but then also has these scenes that's
Oh
like
yeah.
more real than anything
No,
else
that's
that's happening on
that's sort of
any
like
other
part of the
show.
DNA of the show at this point, where it's like you have like a scene like this, or Mary and her son, and then it's like the next scene is Heather and Meredith walking like in a random park, like talking about Lisa, and it's just like it's
It's
the dichotomy
so
is real.
it's so wild that these can exist together and that like Brittany Bateman can give me the scenes that she gives me and also can give me this. I don't know. I think what I'm seeing is like the rage people are feeling towards Brittany because I think that there's almost nothing in this world that's more triggering than relationships between mothers and daughters, especially in a fandom that's mostly made up of women. You know what I mean? Like we all have our mommy issues, and I think this really triggers just like I admit that Bronwyn and Todd triggers me because it reminds me of me and my dad. Like which isn't great for Bronwyn, but like that's just
Listen,
my truth. Okay,
right,
that's just
right.
my truth.
Listen, but yeah, but I think it's also interesting to think about Bronwyn and Muzzy, because that's also playing out on the show at the same
Oh,
time, and it's sort of
woo!
interesting because like
Yes.
it's being framed sort of in the complete opposite way, where it's like
Mm,
Bronwyn is the Olivia of the
that's
situation,
yes.
and you know what I mean, and
Yes.
like she was the one that had to grow up, and she's trying to teach her mom things, and her mom, it's been 20 years since Bronwyn had her kid,
Mm-hmm.
and her mom is still not there. It seems like she's made
Yeah.
no progress, and so I
None.
think I think actually, now that I think about it, this is just pop. It's like the parallel
Yeah.
pathing of those two
Same.
storylines is actually really fascinating, and I hope they follow these pretty closely now that I think about it, because this is like pretty good new territory in terms of just like
Ye-
compelling
Yeah.
television and things that people can relate to, as you said.
I mean, especially when we consider like the current cast of Salt Lake City. I mean, Mary and her son, I have really enjoyed a lot of that, but also like her son is still in the throes of addiction and
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
there's
It's
only so
bad.
much we're gonna get from him. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think it's
Yeah,
fine if I I think it's fine if they want to keep filming through his addiction. He wants to it's a lot of gray area. I get it,
it
but
is.
like
It is.
there's only so much we as the audience really want to see of that. I as maybe as callous as that is, like this is not intervention. You know what I mean? We're not watching intervention, and you can only get maybe two or three scenes a season that are like really focused like that in each
Mm,
wife's lives. That's like poignant. And so we have like Heather Gay, whose daughters are out of the house and just not really have never really been that much part of the show. We have the Marks kids, we have the Barlow kids. Like, so we don't really have a lot of like, we're not watching a lot of family relationships and mothers and children that are like interesting and fresh. Like, you know what I
sure,
mean? So to get
sure, sure,
Bronwyn
sure.
and Muzzy and then to get Brittany and Olivia, that's interesting. Now
Yeah.
we're
Oh,
cooking with
absolutely.
gas. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
we're
Like,
cooking. Yeah, we're
and I
cooking.
don't care
Yeah.
so much that I don't know anything about Lisa Barlow's life because I'm deep in Muzzy world.
Hmm. But
Right?
yeah.
That's
Oh,
what
I mean,
everybody else is thinking about, right?
Muzzy World is. I mean, that's a 5 hour podcast. So,
The baby Gap story, by the way, will just live in
oh
my brain
my God,
forever. It will just be
forever,
I will be on
forever.
my deathbed and I'll be like, once Muzzy said to the baby Gap saleswoman. Like it's so deeply
Oh
disturbing
my
to me.
God, it's terrible. And like just like the Baby Gap detail, we know the
Yeah,
store, they weren't at
It's
the mall.
important.
They weren't just at the
It's
mall. They were at
important.
Baby Gap. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So we'll just allude to some of the like lighter things before we end with I need to hear the suit man explanation. But like this was the episode again. We had this coffee shop sit down, but we also had Angie and Mary sit down, which was supposed to be sort of like the big sort of point of division between Angie and Mary is going to like threaten their friendship. Meanwhile, it's just over the fact that Angie was giving Mary shit about her farting accidentally when her and Bronwyn and her got together, and it, like was that's an instantly just another moment from Mary where
Perfect.
she's so serious, you know,
She's dead
and
serious.
we're all cracking up on our couches watching this, and Angie's trying not to laugh in the moment face to face with her. And yet I was so impressed by Angie because as we know with Mary, she can flip on a dime and it can be like a really, really, really slippery slope in the friendships with her if you do one thing wrong against her, even if it is as silly as making fun of her farts. Like if Angie had not handled that sit down well, she actually probably never would have been friends with Mary ever again. You know what I mean? And
Never.
she sort of fought pretty hard for it in that moment. And she also was very, there's a lot of deference there that she knew she needed to have. And she knew that, like, she knew that, like, this was the moment, like, where it could have gone totally south with Mary and never looked back. But they actually ended on a great term. And I'm actually very happy that she was able to save that.
Me too. I will say last season, the thing where Mary was like, you must agree with me at all times or I won't be your friend, hasn't like fully left my brain. That was like, I remember everyone being like, that's the sweetest thing I've ever seen. And I'm like, because I don't know, the cult stuff just always looms large for me with Mary. I can't, unfortunately for me, that I'm a cult person, in general. So like,
So
it's just always going to stay there.
even if she said that a lot of that came from her mom and Jen Shaw, it's still there for you.
So
I'm smiling.
the mother of it all, okay. I do think that Mary is very much a victim of her grandmother, her mother, and her step grandfather slash husband. I really do think that. And I do think the Mary that we are seeing on screen is a result of watching someone whose mother and grandmother are dead, and husband is no longer seems to be in her life. And I think we're like seeing a person that feels liberated from things, right? I think
Hmm.
she feels much lighter in this world. But she was calling herself God, and I like
Yeah,
will never
you're
be
right.
able to forget that
Okay.
because like
Okay.
calling yourself God is like really
Fair.
crazy.
Fair.
But watching her on the show, I love, 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 and watching Angie, and this is why Angie is such a good housewife because I believe these are both true, and it's okay to say this. Angie like deeply loves Mary, and Angie also
Hmm.
understands that Mary is by far the best ally she could ever have on this show because everybody else, the stuff on SLC is so stupid, and Mary is the one that like makes Angie so likable. Like if there's no Mary, we don't like Angie as much. Last season we would not have liked Angie as much without Mary. Like I think Angie knows that, and I don't say that to be like they're not actually friends. I think both are true.
Yeah,
They
I
live
think that
together.
that's
Like
I
that's a
think that
truth together.
every housewives friendship has those two
Yeah.
ideas braided together in different ratios, but like I totally agree with that assessment.
And
Um
she handled it great. And Angie
yeah,
like saw that Mary was being dead
yes,
serious. As someone
exactly.
who likes to make fun of people and isn't that sensitive, except for mean online comments, as I said at the beginning, like I have been in that position where one of my sensitive friends has been like, I actually lived with a good friend, and we're still good friends, who's like the most sensitive person. And she would like, I could have seen us not about farts, but like something that I thought like I didn't even know happened. You know what I mean? Like, and she'd
Yeah,
be
yeah, yeah.
so hurt by it, and I'd be like, "What?"
Yeah, just you just
I
gotta bite
said,
your tongue
"What?"
though. You just gotta bite your tongue.
I
Yeah, 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 yeah.
exactly. And
Yeah.
like, and also it's like it's important to like validate that feeling, and they're allowed to be
Yeah,
upset by it. And no
absolutely.
matter
Hmm.
how silly it is, if this is someone I care about and I want to be friends with, like I'll say sorry about it. You know what I mean? Like
Mm.
if you're hurt, even if I don't really like agree with the reason that you're hurt and I care for you, like I will gladly apologize. And I think Angie read this so well and like could not have played this better. And like also treating it as seriously as Mary was just so smart for like
Yeah,
she's just as a
she
producer,
had
Angie.
to.
Like
Yeah,
like
she's
I like she knew what we would be seeing. Like the minute
hmm
Mary said fart, Angie was like,
Oh, there's a flashback scene. That was the yeah, that's all. Yeah, exactly.
yeah, like
Exactly.
Angie's like, you just this is the season.
Yes, totally.
This is
Um,
the bobblehead, our little girl. You know what I mean? Like this is it.
yeah, this is the Mary moment, capital M, capital M.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Um, the Heather and Lisa store scene. Well, it's fun. First of all, it came after, and I think Andy said this. And again, I think with Lisa in terms of like opening up about your personal story, it's like it's maybe a different barometer for her because she doesn't do that very much. But like
Yeah.
her and John did have that sit down where they sort of did at least like allude. It wasn't super. specific, but
No.
but it was an admission that like things aren't all hunky dory over the Barlow household all the time. And like it was the first time they kind of did that. So like I guess that sort of preceded this moment with Heather and Lisa. And it's this weird thing with Lisa where like I remember I saw her at this direct TV event in the summer and she's like, it's a weird season for me. And so it's this weird thing where it's
Mm,
like she has this she's having like a pretty like for her intense personal story thing happening.
hmm.
And then she's also sort of in her mind being ganged up on by whether that's like how you perceive what's happening is a different story, but like that's how she's seeing it. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And so she walks into this story scene with Heather feeling vulnerable. You know, she thinks it's gonna go one way, and then Heather like kind of takes it the complete opposite way with her. And yeah, it was kind of it was I found it pretty fascinating to watch that kind of
I
flip
was
switch.
okay. First of all, I will say I was like watching the Lisa and John stuff and have been thinking like, didn't she spend all last season like telling us how much they fuck, telling us how they sit on the phone they go to breakfast and they sit on the phone with each other when they're driving home from breakfast. Then
Right.
they meet where they are. Then they sit like remember she was talking with her sister about how like they
Yeah, yeah,
are
yeah.
connected
Uh-huh. Yes.
24/7. And
Hmm.
I just remember being like, yeah, I could see that. Like I believed it, which is why I think it stuck so much in my head. And I also remember thinking when they were on that California trip and John was talking about how he loved to fuck Lisa Barlow, I was like, yeah, he's into her. Like I remember being like, yeah, that's real chemistry. Like I actually think Lisa and John have like a pretty good marriage. And so I just feel confused by what I am supposed to
Mm.
understand about Lisa's life in
Yeah,
general.
yeah, yeah, sure.
But also, it
It's
doesn't
valid.
matter really. It just doesn't matter. I don't need that from Lisa. It's not something I need, and this is what I need. Lisa just being so shocked and confused by Heather, who has decided to grow a spine for one day. And props to Heather Gay, by the way. This was a masterful not breaking the fourth wall scene. And I'm not sure everybody
Mm.
noticed that, but she
Explain
was
that.
warning Lisa that people will not film with her. That is what she is saying. She is saying if you keep showing up exposing people, people will not film with you because they are scared of you. They do not want to be on camera with you. That's why she keeps going, well, you have to understand the group doesn't want to be around you.
Hmm.
That is as much as can ever be said on this show for the most part
Right.
without saying it. You know what I mean? That is like you are going too far. And I think Lisa, as shocking as this is for me to even say it, I do think she hears her, which is why she steps back on this suit man of it all. Because she
Hmm.
did have a rumor there. And I I think at the end of the day, Lisa can at least see her spot on the show, I guess. And I think that she knows that Heather wouldn't do this scene if it wasn't like, I'm giving you a
And,
real
like
warning.
dire almost. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
And I think that Lisa kind of knows Heather's doing her a favor in that
yeah.
scene, like
Mm.
filming with her at all, because who's filming with her at this point individually? You know what I
Meredith.
mean? Like
Right. Yeah.
Meredith, and Meredith is, I don't know, having a weird season. You know what I mean? Like, and Meredith won't, I don't know. She could give her this scene, but coming from Heather, I thought was really effective. And
Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
genuinely think Lisa heard her. Will Lisa change? No, this is Lisa Barlow, but I do think
But
she heard her.
but I think you pointing out that she is stepping back on the suit man thing. Well, first of all, I just have to say, I think it's hilarious that producers let us think it was suit man for a full week. You know what I mean? In between
Brilliant.
episodes,
Brilliant.
brilliant. But then we find out it's suit man, which you'll explain in a second.
Yeah.
And but you're right. I don't think she's going to pursue that. And it's because of the warning that Heather's giving her, even if in the moment she can't give Heather that credit, because that's just how Lisa can be,
No,
right? Right.
never,
And she
never.
brings out the $100 the stack of $100 bills to show people that no, she has the money. Don't worry about it. She has the money. This is her tip cash. She's been commenting on TikTok about how like because people are like, oh, it's giving Teresa
Yeah, I
Giudice,
saw
whatever. But
that.
it
Yeah.
was way more knowing that Teresa Giudice, she paid for cash. She paid for furniture and cash that first season because for different reasons than Lisa's doing it
Yeah.
here. Um,
Yeah.
but it was just like kind of a very like, hitting the nail on the head right there. Okay, Liz, now's your time to shine, truly.
Okay.
The suit man of
I
it all. So I will say from my perspective, I was calling it suit man because I thought that's what she had said. And then I did see before this episode aired, there was a clip of Meredith on
Hmm.
Alex Cooper's former Call Her Daddy co-host a new podcast. Her name is Sophia. They're in studio, and the host, Sophia, you're going to take it away from here in a second. She says, "Oh, well, I heard a rumor. This is from a couple seasons ago that Angie K used to hook up with my friend, right? Isn't that what it was? The suit
Well,
man,
her ex. Yeah,
her
her
ex.
ex.
Okay,
Yeah.
but did she call it her ex in that
Yes.
clip?
Well, I'm not
Okay,
sure. She might have said friend, but okay. So, have I ever listened to an episode of Call Her Daddy? Of course, the answer to this is no. But early in the pandemic,
never. That's actually an accomplishment.
I mean, I've seen you, I see clips
You've never
now,
felt
but
the need
like,
to tap into a full episode. Wow. Okay, good for you.
absolutely not.
Not even when
Absolutely
the drama
not.
was happening.
No, especially with, well, actually, you know
Uh,
what? To be fair, I
I
listened
liked
to
the
Dave
drama.
Portnoy's episode and I listened to
Okay.
Alex's episode, and then I did listen to one episode of Sophia's for her to
Okay.
explain.
Okay.
But
Okay. That's it.
that was all like
Yeah, that's a
information
bubble over
gathering.
here. Yeah.
Yes,
Mhm.
yes. So I start seeing that this drama is happening, and it's like March 2020, and I
Mhm.
just like got really into the drama. And Call Her Daddy was a podcast that rose to fame like really quickly. Within 18 months of its start, they're like the biggest podcast at Barstool. It was started by this girl named Alex Cooper very early on. She brings her friend Sophia on. They get hired by Barstool. So they're not just like doing a podcast for Barstool, which is different than how you and I podcast. Like
Yeah,
they
yeah,
get
yeah.
hired for a salary to work at Barstool for this podcast that maybe will work, maybe won't. Surprise ends up being like the biggest thing that's ever happened in podcasting. And so Sophia and Alex go into heavy negotiations with Barstool because when they signed on, they signed over all of the IP and like the rights to the name to Barstool. So even beyond like the contract of like, we have to give you this many episodes, they don't own shit. That was like part of
Mhm.
the deal, which when you think about it, if the podcast doesn't work, they got a $70,000 a year salary to like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not the worst trade-off, and they had
No,
no idea.
but honestly, when I heard about this thing, like I'm on a network and I'm like, I have to keep all my IP. Like that's
Yes. Yes.
I
Oh,
worked for Yahoo before. I didn't own any of I made a show for them, didn't own it. I had to leave it.
yep.
So,
Yep.
yep, it
Yep.
happens.
It's a hard lesson to learn, and
Hmm.
especially when the brand isn't anything when you start. So
Yeah.
Sophia, so all that to say, Sophia had a boyfriend that was an older guy, and she was not using his name and kind of talking about him like he was like a sugar daddy because their thing was like being slutty and fucking
Right.
guys, and like that was like their big thing,
The
right?
clock 3000, whatever the fuck it's
Yeah,
called, the blowjob technique. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
exactly. All of it. Like it's all about cheating on guys and like getting guys to pay
Hmm.
for shit and staying super thin so guys like you. Like it's really gross and toxic. But Sophia starts seeing this guy and he becomes known as Suit Man. And I can't even think of, I think his first name is Peter. He was an executive or like a producer that worked for HBO Sports. So he was like in
Oh.
the world, but not totally. Remember, this is 2019-ish, right? So they go in 2020, early 2020 is when they're like, they have 2 years left on their contract, but remember, they know own no IP. So Suit Man starts being like, how much money are you guys making? And they're like, oh, well, you know, this much and this much. And he goes, how much merch did you sell? How many ads are you selling?
Hmm.
Did you know Barstool's making $5 million a year off the two of you? And between merch and bonuses, you each made $250,000 this year. You know what? Like doing that. Like, and
Hmm.
he was right. Like industry standard wise, it wasn't normal because they came on as employees. And that's where it's like they didn't join a network. They were hired by Barstool to create content. So that's kind of like the very important part. All of that to
Hmm.
say, Suitman essentially convinces them that you two are the talent, right? Fuck the brand. Okay, we can't take the IP. Fuck it. And by the way, the IP includes the RSS feed, which is, you know, the fountain
Huge.
at the end
That's
of the
the
rainbow.
gold mine. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the gold mine. You need the RSS feed because you need the people who subscribed and listened one time and never played your episode again. Like
Hmm.
like that auto downloads every week. You know
Exactly.
what I mean?
Yep.
Like
That's it.
that that's how podcasts work. It's just what it is. And so he Suit Man and the girls, by the way, at the same time are also really selling themselves as like girl bosses
Hmm.
and we're
Hmm.
in charge and we're broke, but we're gonna be great. You know what I mean? Just like not a picture of someone with a serious executive boyfriend who is like guiding their career. Like it just, I don't, fans didn't understand that at the time. And it's kind of important how they like react. So what essentially happens is Alex and Sophia stop recording for Barstool, um, and they're going to go to Wondery. And Barstool's like, all right, go fuck yourself because you don't own the IP. Like, you no, like, you can't do that. But they see how much money they're losing, not putting out Call Her
Mm.
Daddy episodes. So Dave Portnoy gets desperate and essentially calls them in and gives them what they call the rooftop deal, the offer of a lifetime, which is stay with us for 2 more years and you get the IP and the RSS feed, which they'd had no rights to whatsoever.
Mm.
We will restructure the contract. You're going to get way more money, way bigger bonuses because they were right. They were not getting paid enough, right? Like they deserve to be paid
Right.
more based on
Of
what they were
course.
making. And so Alex leaves there being like, hell yeah. Like that's it. Like we did it. Where Sophia and Suitman are like, no, no, no. We don't want to work for Barstool and we're the talent. Fuck the IP. And Alex had the foresight to be like, not fuck the IP. Like, no, the IP is everything. Like, and that's always why I was kind of on her side, if you will, because, like, to me, it was such the obvious business decision.
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
you
Like
need the feed.
Suit Man,
What?
the big business guy is like advising her very
To go to
poorly.
Wondery, like, you know what I mean?
He
Even
asked
in
the right questions
2020,
initially, but like this sort
like,
of direction, this fork in the road, he chose the wrong direction.
exactly. Like it was dumb what they did because they really didn't have a ton of leverage. Well, I guess it was smart because in the end, like they get this great deal. And what happens is Alex assumes that they're gonna take it. And then she realized Sophie and Superman keep asking for more and they're upping the ante more and more. And she at that point decides that Sophia is never taking this deal. And she and Superman are actually gonna tank this deal. Um, and so that's when she kind of gets in touch with lawyers. Her parents that are, upper middle class professionals are stepping in, advising her on taking notes and you know what I mean? Like that's when they
Hmm.
kind of move from like, we're not totally sure what's going to happen to Alex is like, there will probably be a lawsuit here. Like, and so she essentially goes to bar school, says, I want to do it. I don't want to do it with Sophia. Eventually, Sophia comes back and is like, can I do it? And they're like, no. So Alex gets to keep Call Her Daddy, which we all know has now made her I don't know, $1 billion. Like,
Yeah.
what's the number now?
Or
One
yeah,
billion
exactly. Yeah.
dollars. Like,
Talk about the girl
and
boss treatment. She's on the cover of every fucking financial magazine. Yeah,
yes.
exactly.
So the way this all comes out though is that Dave Portnoy in his fashion just gets on their feet and puts out an episode just detailing all of this. That Alex puts out an episode detailing all of this. So Suit Man becomes public enemy number one because
Mm.
he's the man that's broken up Call Her Daddy. If
Hmm.
he didn't come in here and break up Call Her Daddy, we would still have our best girls together, which is like not true. I think in the long run, you know what I mean? They were
Yeah.
sloppy
In her
20
document,
somethings.
and also in her documentary, it's like she talked about how
Yeah.
they basically weren't friends by the end. Yeah.
Yeah. They were roommates in their early 20s, drinking a lot. Of course they stopped being friends. Like
Right.
that's tales old as time. You know what I mean? And it's just, I think hearing the suit man of it all was very wild to me because it's one of those things that's like if you know you know and if you don't like there's truly no reason whatsoever to know this, but essentially this man is responsible for Sophia. Okay, I think the Spotify deal was 100 million and we know or not, the Sirius deal was 100 million and Spotify was 60, and Alex did not have to split that with Sophia.
Mm-mm.
So he is now known, and there's outside opinions, and a lot of people really strongly believe that Alex like totally pushed Sophia out. I personally don't agree with that, but whatever, everybody has opinions. And but at the end of the day, I think what most agree on is that Sophia took bad advice. And I think there's a version that's like, yeah, she listened to her boyfriend and she lost out on $80 million. Or it's like, well, it wasn't her boyfriend's fault. Like she made the decisions. Like
Hmm.
we can empower her or we can give him all of the
Yeah.
responsibility. Either way, I think everyone, even if you believe, no matter whose side you're on or what you believe, I think most people agree that Suit Man himself is the catalyst for Alex Cooper having $160 million.
Right. And it's like, one, Sophia is a much less compelling personality, I think, compared to Alex Cooper to
Much less. She
begin
also
with. And so, like,
didn't work
and
as
so,
hard.
no, yeah, didn't work as
A
hard
million
if
things.
you believe it.
Yeah.
We saw in the documentary, and also, like, her show was never going to work, just her, first of all.
Never.
And the other thing is that, like, all this drama that you just explained very well, thank you very much for your service, you could argue that Call Her Daddy never gets as big as it's
Never,
gotten.
never.
It
It
doesn't.
doesn't.
It doesn't get as valuable and as sort of
Mm-mm.
zeitgeisty without the drama, without the split.
It's it stays the toast. It stays Lady
Totally,
Gang. It
totally.
stays
Yeah,
a very
which is still
successful.
very
Please
good
look at toast numbers.
yeah,
Like,
it's like those are cult followings and the whole thing. But
yeah.
you have to break out of the cult following. Yeah,
I to get paid $60 million and then $100 million, it's
no,
just
it's
kind of going back to Wendy and Eddie. It's like the difference between like being successful and I mean she
and fuck you money. Yeah.
I mean truly Alex Cooper like does not deserve this in any way, shape, or form, but like we have to
So
give her
so
credit.
so
She
Liz,
like
can I ask you a question? When Lisa said suit man
mhm.
at the
I thought
winery.
Suit Man, but okay, so I did see people online talking about soup and suit, and so I went in kind of like, you know what I mean, with that already in my mind. I didn't go in blind, but I had vaguely remembered. I thought in my head it was Angie H that had like done something with Suit Man, but then
And
I
how
think I remembered it was like Demi from Real Soul,
from
Secret
Secret Lives.
Lives, who maybe had her husband, I think, dated Angie H at one
Yeah,
point
yeah, yeah, you're right. He was
because
I
he's
think he
like
was
80. He's
I think he
very
was
old.
married to her. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I was like, are they talking about two men? Oh, the one important thing. Sophia's from Utah. She's from Salt Lake City. And when this all
Mm.
happens, all of the drama, her and Suit Man decamp to Salt Lake City and spend a year living in Utah.
Oh, that's a really important
Sorry.
detail, Liz.
The most important detail of this all. Her parents, Sophia has wealthy parents. They're living in the basement in like the in-law suite of her parents' McMansion. And I guarantee you, remember what came out in the fall of 2020? The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City.
Yeah.
Like, and or 20 early
And so that's
2021.
where the allegation comes from that Suitman's in Salt Lake City and Lisa's saying that
You know they're going to the
and
same parties. How many
right,
people like
right.
who
So
who
I'm looking it
Sophia would
up.
probably got invited everywhere.
Meredith was on Sophia Franklin's podcast in October of 2023, so 2 full years ago. And there's that clip that made it the rounds this week where it feels like Sophia's almost trying to give Meredith the tea, but then Meredith gets sidetracked
Meredith doesn't understand or no.
talking about her then like really tense relationship with Angie, you know? And so like Sophia starts this clip where she's like, well, my ex or my friend used to hook up with Angie. That's her allegation. And so then it's like you think about what Lisa, it's like, so this is, I guess this rumor is out there, but yeah.
That's
So
by the
that's
way,
how it all comes
that
full
is the
circle.
that is the only way I want Meredith to be receiving information. I want her to have simply no idea that she is not picking up on something greater, the person like trying to drop a subtle hint. Like that's so funny to me.
Oh my gosh. Well, that for everybody listening, that's the full explanation. That's how we get to Suit Man. That's how we also get to, I mean, it's also like this is like kind of like a lit grenade, you know? It's like it's
Well, it is because it's the difference between Lisa saying something that is just fully made up and Lisa
hmm
repeating a rumor. And at the end of the day, those are two different things, right?
yeah.
They have similar consequences. We can discuss bringing stuff onto the show, we can discuss bringing stuff on camera, but in my opinion, and I've always felt this way, I do think there's a difference between a housewife straight up making something else, i.e., Giselle and Chris, where Giselle just made that up. Like that wasn't a rumor, that
hmm
Giselle just like made up something that happened fully, right? And so, like, I do. I'm sorry, I totally lost my train of thought.
You
Oh,
said there's
making
a
just like,
difference between
yeah,
making
there's
up
just a difference. Like Lisa
and
repeating
hearing a
something that,
rumor
like,
she had
repeating
heard.
something that what that was very clearly said by somebody else. You know what I mean? Like,
So do you think that
it's not
Lisa's
great,
repeating
but
this?
it's
I have
different.
a question. Is your read on it that Lisa's repeating the Suit Man thing because she saw it on the Meredith podcast episode? She's seen this
Yeah,
clip,
because
somebody sent
somebody
her,
sent it.
or she
Yes.
heard this completely separately from the clip. You think it's from the podcast?
I think it's from the podcast. I
Okay.
do. And even like I haven't listened to the clip. Even if they don't say Suit Man, what I think
She
probably
says Suit
happened
Man, I'm pretty
is
sure.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because what I think what would also happen is somebody who's watching that like knew would send it to Lisa and be like, "Did you know her ex-boyfriend Suit Man?" You know what I mean? Like I think Lisa still could have gotten the information even if it wasn't necessarily directly from that episode. Like somebody put two and two together probably for her.
Yeah.
And I think that's what she was doing. And it is it is different for her to totally make up that somebody's husband had an
Oh
affair
yeah.
and to, or that somebody had an affair with someone and to bring up something that was said on a podcast by somebody
Ugh, I
else.
thought I had booked. So I'm just on my phone 'cause I'm trying to. I thought I had bookmarked the Sophia clip, but I haven't. So you'll have to look at. I'll send it to you later. Sorry. The last thing that I want to ask you about is this episode ends with these old allegations. Actually, not even that old allegations coming out about Bronwyn. Like there's like other like Grand Theft Auto charges. Like it's a sealed. It's mostly a sealed thing. But I remember those coming out on social media,
Yes.
and it's this kind of annoying thing to me where like these come out on a social media account, a Bravo fan page. They all see it, gets brought up on camera, and immediately the sort of assumption is like one of these seven women is responsible for leaking this. And it's like, well,
Yeah.
first of all, there's so many other people in this ecosystem that like, and there are literal fan accounts that just like dig this shit up for fun. And
Hell
like,
yeah.
and so like the person who initially dug this up, there's an account called the Bravo Derm, and they've been tweeting all week like nobody on the cast alerted me to this. It was
I
not
believe
Lisa.
that.
I've never been in contact with Lisa. The only person I've ever been in contact with is Angie, and she did not leak this to me. That this is the account that is taking responsibility for this all coming out initially. So it's annoying to me that like they're all just like Lisa did it. The scene, the episode ends with Todd and Bronwyn, where he's all of a sudden activated on camera after he ate that fucking cherry when he was so disinterested in filming earlier in the episode, and they're like, "Fuck Lisa, she did this," and it's like, well, there's no evidence of that, and then the whole below deck trip is going to be accusing her of doing this. That's where Heather's going to go this way, she goes this way, all hell's going to break loose, but it's going to be over them assuming it was Lisa because she has, done stuff like this in the past, I guess, but like it's not her this time. It's not.
I it's not her. This is what happens online in fandoms. I've been watching this happen for a million years online. Detectives. There are detectives in this world
Yeah.
who are very good at finding out things about people and they have obsessions and they just spend time trying to figure it out. First of all, why is Braun filming with Todd? What's going on here? Why is
Well,
she
well,
doing
well,
that?
well, people are saying that it's like they're
Why?
like, does she not have any other friends to film with who are a little bit more enthusiastic about being there? Because
Like,
it's like
okay,
it's watching him. First of all, I think it's so lame that he can't get a little more enthusiasm for his wife's profession that she's so excited about. It's a new opportunity for her, whatever. Like he can't put on the smile. It's like giving grumpy man. And it's like, dude, like this is her new job. Like how many work events has she gone to for you? You know what I mean? I know it's a different kind of work, but like it's frustrating. It's so frustrating to watch.
it's so frustrating to watch. It reminds me of when Dorinda was like, "Oh, everybody hates John. I'm not going to film with him anymore." If
Mm.
Dorinda has the sense to take her boyfriend off the show, like, remember when Stern to stop filming with John? We all kind of forgot about John. We like didn't really care about John
I
anymore.
mean,
But like,
Mary's husband is not
uh,
filming. They're still together.
hello,
It's like it happens.
hello.
Hmm.
Once people leave the show, they don't exist anymore in our
But but
brains.
but can't you imagine the other women being like, "Well, I don't want my
Well,
husband
of
to film."
course.
Yeah,
Of
yeah,
course. But I
yeah.
just am
I
like,
know, I know.
why
She
is
does it to
she
herself.
and or you can film with him, but like he cannot be your scene partner when you're trying to break the news that Lisa Barlow has
Right.
outed your criminal history. That cannot because he goes, why would you care about that? Because we're
It's
on
like
a
it's
show.
like, come on. I don't care if you're at a private members club in Salt Lake City.
Hello, like as the audience, I would have rather watched her sit down with a producer and like a producer ask these questions. Like,
Even
so
Gwen.
why do you still want to go? When anyone, like it just, he will not even learn the phrase your friend Lisa. Like he will not even learn like going on a trip with your friends. He keeps going, why do you want to hang out with them? What do you
Mm.
like, he's talking about the cast of the show, which I understand,
Yeah,
but I
I
don't, we
know.
shouldn't know he's talking about the cast of the show. Like,
Yeah,
play
yeah, yeah.
along.
I know. Play along. He can't. It's almost like he's gotten to a point in his life where he just like has no,
Well, yes, because he's
no. Yeah,
old.
he like yeah. In,
Yes.
in
Yes,
general,
he's
he
an
just
old
like doesn't want to
man.
fake
He won't
anything.
do
So you
it.
get to that point,
Correct.
right? But it's like,
But if that's your husband,
uh,
why are you
I
going on The Housewives and
know.
why are you filming with him?
But it's
Because it's
like,
just going to make him look bad.
just Yeah, the one-on-one
He
scenes.
looks
It's like yeah,
bad.
they set themselves up for those scenes. So it's like, she's
Yes.
talked about, oh no, Tom actually loves this for me, whatever. It's like he does not like doing this. It's so objective. Every single scene gets this vibe.
And I actually was fooled a little bit. In that first episode, when she's like, Todd saw himself on TV, he
Yeah, me too.
regrets how
Yeah.
he acted. I was like, you know what? Fair enough. Fair fucking enough. Because what does he know about being on TV? You know what I mean? And I can genuinely believe that a 65-year-old man would watch himself who does not watch reality TV and be like, huh,
Oh,
whoops,
that no,
like,
that does no self-reflection
whoopsies,
ever. Yeah, exactly.
and so I could see that. And then he's like nice to her in the first episode. And now we're just right back to the exact same place,
Hmm.
which is he does not support her and he puts her down and he makes her feel bad about herself. And that's what is so hard for me to watch. It's not about necessarily him being disinterested. It's not even, here's an example, because who doesn't play along really? Russell with Gertie. But
Yeah,
but
you're right.
he still can be in the scenes. And I mean, I think the sexiest moment to ever happen in Housewives was when Gertie, like, he pulled Gertie out of that party.
Right.
Because I was like, that's a man that loves his fucking wife. Like, he didn't go in there and fight with other people. He doesn't yell at her in a mean way. He's like, please, you are sick and you are the love of my life. And I need you to like live. Like, please come home with me. I love you so much. Like, that's a husband that doesn't want to be involved but loves his wife. He's like, I
Totally.
need you to leave this party because you have breast cancer and I feel like spinning out of fucking control. And we've agreed I'm not doing that on camera. So let's get the fuck out of here. Like,
Yes.
that is how a husband that does not want to be involved act. Todd just is mean.
No. And you know what it is also? We see him treat her badly too, which is, whenever a husband is treating the housewife badly, even if you have complicated feelings about that housewife, you're like, well, she's like, we're on her side, babe. And
Yes.
also, secondly,
Yes.
the implication, like him not taking it seriously at all, is part of the reason why it's so triggering for us as viewers is because we take it so seriously, and
Yes.
it's
How
actually
dare you?
it's an indictment on us being interested in the show and taking and putting
Yep.
so much stock into these shows. So for him to be on camera and not taking it so seriously to the point where he's, his full-time cast member wife, like, is like so frustrated and can't get through to him, it's actually insulting to us because we're watching it so
Yes.
seriously. And it's like, dude, like,
Yes.
then this isn't for you.
Then
Like, get
don't show. We
lost.
don't
Like,
care.
get
We
lost.
don't.
Exactly.
I'm
It gets
curious
me
if
activated.
Bravo is running into an issue where they want to show how shitty her marriage is because like that is compelling television and wanting her to have a scene partner who will like actually talk to her and like act like he's in the show because like I'm like, so why is Bravo not fixing this? Like,
Yeah,
why
where's the
are they
girl
not? Why are
where's the non-cast member girlfriend who can just come in and do a little coffee date with her? Yeah.
hire someone for Christ's sake? Like, there's options. You know what I mean? There are people. We can
Yeah.
get a hairstylist. There is not one gay man in all of Salt Lake City that Bravo is friend or that Bronwyn is friends with. Are you kidding me? We could get like, let me call some
Right.
people. I'm
I
sure
mean,
if I post it on
her
Instagram.
and Angie could have that conversation because they're
Yeah, like
anti-Lisa. Yeah, yeah.
there's so many options and I get why they want to show us her husband and the destruction of her marriage and all of that, but scene after scene of it, I'm sorry, we are listening to Bronwyn like break the news that she was maybe or maybe not arrested for 5 felony counts less than 5 years ago, even if it happened 10 years ago, and we have to watch her talk with it about someone who won't even discuss it. He won't
Hmm.
even talk about it.
Yeah,
He
and
won't
yeah,
engage.
that's also what's frustrating about it because we hear about it and then right away it's like this is sealed. I can't talk about it. Oh, and Lisa did this. It's like
Which
there was no explanation on their part, which was really just like maddening, honestly, because like the
it's
Lisa part
bullshit.
should have come out on the boat. Yeah, the we should have talked
There's
about
nothing she
it.
can't talk about. First of
Right,
all,
right,
there's
right.
no legal reason when your case is sealed, when you are an adult, like even if it's sealed because you were a child at the time when you have the right to speak about your own case. The
Hmm.
justice system does not they can't tell criminals that they're not allowed to speak about their own case. Like it's not how our justice system works. Yes, they seal things so that they're not available upon search. There are gag orders where you're not allowed to speak about things. Sealing something means that it's not like available as public information, like public record. Like we can't go and request it because it's sealed. It does not mean Bronwyn's never allowed to talk about it. Like get the fuck out of here. Come up with something. I made a mistake. I was a
Yeah,
single mom.
exactly.
A
Yeah.
coworker asked me to do something. They told me they'd give me extra money. It's the stupidest fucking thing I ever did. My rich husband had to pay $100,000 to get this shit taken care of. Because, by the way, I was not a citizen when I got arrested. And we know that she probably didn't get the convictions because she's a citizen now. And you can't get a citizenship if you have felt like, especially recent felony convictions. So if she would just be a little fucking honest, even without being really honest or really telling us what she did, and just like was like, I made a really idiotic decision and it's sealed. And like my husband and I are choosing to move on from that. And if she knows in her heart, none of us can find this information, go with that. Don't give me some
Yeah.
fucking bullshit. Like
Yeah, it was
you're not. What do
BS.
you mean you're not
Well,
allowed to talk about it? Did you turn state's evidence? Were you a witness? If that's the case, then tell me that, okay? Because
yeah,
that
yeah.
I understand.
And
Did they
it's
drop
also like
charges because you testified?
I think part of the reason
Fine.
also why it stands out so much is that she actually is so honest about so much. And that's why she's been such a good
Yes.
addition to the show. And like
Well,
she's
also she'd talk about anybody else's fucking arrests. Like, bro, like
no, but it's like I'm
she's
just
a
saying like about like this
gabber,
this stuff with her. Yeah, yeah, she
Yeah,
talks. She
she is
talks
though with her
and
mom and her
yeah,
daughter for
exactly. Yeah, so it's like
sure.
this is such a departure from how she is about everything
Yes.
else. And so it's like,
Well,
wait a second. Like
it's like
I'm not gonna skate past this right now. Yeah.
there are a couple things that have happened, and I would consider the necklace, the way she responded to that, and then also the way she apologized to that to kind of be in line with this, where you
Mm.
have this perception of Bronwyn, and then she does something really weird. And you're like, why is she doing that?
Yeah,
Like at
why'd
the
you do
necklace
that?
thing, I was like, why is
To
she
be
doubling
cool?
down?
Yeah.
Like, just don't double down. Like, it's okay. You lied. We're
Yeah.
fine. And that's kind of how I'm feeling with this, where I'm like, this, this is not a good choice. This is just not, it makes you look bad to the audience. Like the audience does not trust you. That like is there anything you trust less than I'm not allowed to speak about that for legal reasons as a viewer? No, shut up. Like
Yeah.
that doesn't endear you to an audience. And I think Bronwyn is smart. She is smart enough to talk about this in a way that is so much better. And I think maybe that's why I'm frustrated because with the necklace thing, with this thing, I'm like, I feel like you should navigate this better. Like I feel like
Yeah.
you should
She's
you went on a
she
show with
knows well
knowing you
enough
have
that
these
people are not going to be
arrests.
satisfied with this explanation.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like you've been online. She's been influencing, like you really thought this would never come up, and then also made no plans whatsoever on how to handle it. Like you should have had a little binder in your bedroom. And when that person hit on Twitter, you should have gotten your little binder out and started making plans because you should have anticipated this because you're on the fucking Housewives.
I'm
Like
shocked. Yeah, yeah,
it's always
that's where
gonna come
that's
out.
also shocking. Absolutely. Oh my
So to
God.
just give like, well, I can't speak about it. It was 10 years ago. Get out of
Mm,
here. Get out of here with it. Come up with something. Call me Brown. I have ideas.
there we
I always have
go.
crisis PR for these people. Nobody ever wants to listen to me.
Honestly, they'd be wise to listen to you, Liz. They would be wise to listen to
Ben
you.
Platt, call me. I've had ideas for years.
Oh, there we go. Liz, this has been a very good episode of the podcast. I can just tell. Like it's just we went deep on
I
so
just
many
looked at
big
the
things.
time.
Yeah, no, we really got carried
It's
away.
been
It's been an hour and a half.
insane.
It's been an hour and a half. But you know what? Like I think the people needed this. They deserved it. And
I hope so.
this is such a peek into what you offer on your podcast. Liz Explains. Like this is I just love the way that your mind works. You just remember so many like really pertinent things. And it's I like having recorded this with you. I'm like better for it, truly. Like it's just like I'm so appreciative for your time and like just like all your thoughts that you had today, truly.
Thank you. Yeah, this is I mean, I loved the Color Daddy thing. Like, that's my podcast, just explaining
That's Liz
things that you like
Explains.
read one headline about and you went, huh? And then you just kept scrolling. And then you saw another headline, you're like, but I can't, Anna. And then I will explain to you what that actually means. I always joke, like, if you just kept seeing Brianna chicken fry and you're like, but I just can't understand what Brianna chicken fry is, I'll explain it to you.
You'll fry that up for them.
I'll fry it up for you, baby.
Yes. And Liz Explains is on Patreon, correct? That's where people can find you.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yes. So patreon.com/Liz Explains. I do a weekly episode on various topics. And also twice a month, I'm doing early Vanderpump Rules recaps, which we have to
Oh,
schedule you for.
I'd love to do
I
that. Yeah.
remember I had asked you and it didn't quite work.
No,
So let me
I'm
let me
I'm
get back to
down. You know,
you.
I'm down. Yeah. Oh my God. I'm gonna repay the favor because this is great. Liz, I really appreciate all the time. Like just a great episode. I'm sure people will love this. And we're gonna have another clip go viral. So I don't know if you want me to tag you or not on
Be
TikTok,
nice.
but Liz, you're the best. And I'll be on your show soon.
Yes, thank you.
I want to gab.